Hello everyone, welcome back to Module 5 and today we'll see about the CSRD, the architecture starting of the EU Sustainability Disclosure of CSRD and how relevant for the ESRS. So we'll see the difference. So the solution is the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Director or CSRD, just not an update. It is total overwhelming regulations from the EU. The goal is to stamp out the greenwashing, where companies pretending to be greener than they are. The CSRD forces companies to provide a high quality comparable data, and essentially the EU wants sustainability reports to be just as serious as reliable as your financial profit and loss statement. So the context of the particular CSRD is when greenwashing is happening at companies using marketing to look eco-friendly but harms the overall environment. So where the CSRD makes this illegal by forcing them to show the actual data. So that is the reason where EU coming with corporate sustainability reporting directive, and also for that, what are the metrics that under the ESRS. So we'll see in the detail. So to understand where we are going with sustainability reporting, we first have to understand why we are doing it. So the European Union has a massive strategic goal called as a European Green Deal, that is climate neutrality by 2050. So with a hard deadline to cut emissions by 55% by 2030 as well. So for that we need to pay for the transition. We need to private money flowing into the sustainable projects, but there is a problem. So under rule that is called as the NFRD, non-financial reporting directive, that have a corporate data was very messy and hard to compare. So that is why investors couldn't trust on the company, and where to fix those market failure, now EU is moving to the new system which is called as a CSRD. So the NFRD, non-financial reporting directive, was the old law, and it failed because companies could vaguely say we are green without proving it. For example, imagine trying to buy a house, but the seller won't tell you the square footage or the energy bill. They just say it's nice house, and that is the investors were dealing with every types of rule that fix this. So that is why the solution is coming up with the CSRD and ESRS, which is part of the European Green Deal. So now we have to think about how CSRD as the new building code for corporate transparency. So it drastically expands the scope. We are going from about 11,000 company under the NFRD to the 50,000 companies earlier. I'm saying earlier. So this include large private funds and even non-EU companies with big corporations, and with building code has three new pillars. So that covers CSRD has a good type of pillar that covers assurance. So you can't just grade your own homework anymore, and auditor has to check it everything. The second one is a double materiality. You have to look at how the world affects you and how you affect the world. Then digital tagging, which reports must be computer readable, which is called as a XBRL tag. We'll discuss later on. And here it's to ensure the house is safe to live in, so that the CSRD ensure company is safe and to invest in regarding the sustainability. So here I'm saying that 50,000 companies is based on the announced when the CSRD happening as a law. But nowadays lots of changes happening. So we'll see the timeline, and also you already seen in module 1 that what are the CSRD timeline. So I will also explain the latest. So in 2025, as per the NFRD, all the large company has to be reported, and there are so many of changes during the 2025. So after the December 2025, there is a change of total 1,000 plus employees who has those kind of large companies. Then they have to report in 2027. Also, the revenue part is for 50 million. I will add this into the descriptions of this video so that you can have a latest data. And few of the companies, which is SMEs, they are have to report in subsequent year. So in 2027, in 2028, and then 2029. So that is there. So in 2027, this catch as a SMEs in earlier, but now it's very much delay because of the omnibus, because of the council, because of the EU Parliament mandate. And finally, non-EU companies with significant business in Europe that has to be reported in 2029. And also the context of stop the clock directive, which is coming up with reporting deadlines have been formally postponed by 2 years, that I already mentioned, that earlier it was wave 2 and listed SME for the wave 3. So this was adopted to ease of administrative burden, and that is why the stop the clock directive has been come before the mandate of 2025 of EU Parliament. I will add all the timelines as per the latest eligibility criteria in the video in the description. So under the latest criteria introduced through the omnibus simplification package after the approval from the EU Parliament, EU Councils and EU Commissions, companies with more than 1,000 employees and annual turnover that exceeding 450 million euro that fall under wave 1 reporting requirements. So you can see into the infographics that I have attached here, and I have also add into the description as well, and giving the actual directive link so that you can go and check on the particular requirement. So we need to distinguish between the CSRD law and the ESRS as a standard. Lots of people are very much confusing that what thing is going on in terms of CSRD and ESRS. CSRD is very much different than the ESRS, and also it is a separate reporting compliance work that every company has to be done. So that is wrong. It tells you who has to report and when. So the CSRD is the law which tells you that who has to report and when. And the ESRS, the standards, which is called as a European Sustainability Reporting Standard, are the tools to do it. Where think of it how the way the matrix has to be designed, what are the data points. So the CSRD mandates that you build a house, for example, and the ESRS are the detailed architecture blueprint that tells you exactly where the walls, where the windows, and everything will be there in the house. So you cannot comply with the law without following this whole blueprint data sets of ESRS. So we need to understand CSRD as a law. What are the things that needs to be compliant? What are the eligibility criteria? And to comply the CSRD, we have to follow the ESRS standards for each and every matrix that needs to be calculated. So we'll see the in detail of ESRS architecture. So the standard are split into two groups. At the top, we have the cross-cutting standards, which is ESRS 1 and ESRS 2. These are mandatory. It doesn't matter if you make a software or cement or manufacturing or retail, you have to use this. Below that, we have a topical standards. This covers specific issues like pollutions, workforce, social. You only report on this if they are actually relevant to your to you or material to you, so to your specific business. So context of this particular architecture of ESRS is, for example, a bank and a coal mine both use cross-cutting standards, but the coal mine will report heavily on pollutions, that is topical, which is a material for them, while the bank might focus more on the business conduct because the material topical standard is different for them. So cross-cutting standard, which is a mandatory one, ESRS 1 and ESRS 2, which is general requirements or general disclosures, and topical standards that covers different types of things that we'll see in module 6 in much detail, that what are the E1, E2, E3, E5, S1, S2, S3, S4, and what are the G1. So that is the foundations of all the ESRS standards that called as a 12 standard module. So here we'll see the ESRS 1 already, Now we'll see the ESRS2 module, how the ESRS2 is requirement of mandatory foundation for every sustainability statement that covers four pillars, similar kind of ISSB pillars that we showed earlier modules, module 4 and 5. So the four pillars labeled as a governance, strategy, IRO management. IRO stands for the impact, risk, and opportunity. And the last one is a metrics and target. So let's look at the foundation ESRS2. Every single company must complete this, and it asks informations across four pillars. The first one is a governance, so that who is in charge of sustainability. Do your board members, executive management have incentive tied to your green goals or the overall targets of your climate actions or not? And what are your governance structures, body structures, committee structures? So that needs to be disclosed under the governance. Second one is a strategy. So here you have to understand what's your strategy, vision, missions of your company, and how your business model actually survive in the sustainable future. So you have to disclose your company strategies, code of conduct, business model that interact with the sustainability and its opportunity. Third one is IRO management. So how do you identify the risk and the opportunity? So the process of identifying of various types of risk through the climate risk assessment, through the various credit risk assessment, or that covers the physical risk as well as transition risk, and how those risks are available for you to as opportunities to invest your capital or to find any new technologies that can be part of your opportunity. So that is part of the IRO management. We'll see in detail in module 6 that how we can develop those IRO, because it's very important for the company to calculate the risk, opportunity, and it's managed. And the fourth one is metrics and targets. So what are your goals and are you hitting them through your data points or not? So the company's performance, including the targets, net zero targets or carbon intensity targets, it has to be set, and you need to measure your progress toward meeting them. So every year you have to measure those kind of metrics. So this is the overall ESRS2 modules that covers governance, strategy, IRO management, and the metrics and target. Then we'll see the topical blueprint reporting material. So ESRS has a different topical materials. We saw the ESRS 1 and 2, which is a mandatory disclosure requirement. So here ESRS 2 is the foundations. These are the rooms for the rooms for the house. We have 10 topical standards. So in environment we have a E1 to E5, which is covers first E1 is climate change. ESRS E2 is called as a pollutions, that covers air, water, soil, and related pollutions. ESRS E3 that covers water and marine resources, that also represent the water use, sourcing, and impact on the marine ecosystems. And also the ESRS 4 and ESRS 5, which is cover the biodiversity and ecosystems impacts on the various types of action plans for preservations. And the ESRS E5, which is covers the circular economy related material and waste management related materials metrics. So that is part of the environment, and it is very important, and they have all the metrics data points under the ESRS E1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For the social S1 to 4, it covers own workforce, where well-being, employment practice, DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So those are the stuff that covers under the social. Value change, what are the communities you are taking initiatives, consumers and users, what are the impacts on the final users and the customers and through your products and the services. So that things is needs to be considered under the social. And the last one is the governance, which is business conduct, that how you are providing your product and services through your business code of conduct. So whether it's have a policy of anti-corruptions, money laundering, lobbying, corporate culture. So this kind of all policies needs to be disclosed under the governance. Special considerations for ESRS even under the climate change is if a company concludes that climate change is not a material topic for them, it must provide a detailed explanation. So some companies don't understand about the climate change, so they have to explain and forward-looking analysis of conditions that could change that particular assessment. So this called as a rebuttable presumptions, and that raises the bar for non-disclosures on climate. So here it's a very typical situations if you are not ready to disclose your climate change related data stuff. So that is a topical blueprint for ESRS. Next, we'll see the engine compliances. So here putting standard into the practice. So that is a very strong assessment that we need to do as a call as a double materiality assessment. So what is double materiality assessment here is now you might be thinking, do I have to report on all of those topics? Or the answer maybe no, because all the topical standards is not material to your company or your product or your service. So you can use the double materiality assessment to understand which type of topic is material to you. So that is why they provide this kind of special considerations, and this is the engine of the whole process. So it act as a filter, so you can run your business through this assessment to figure out which topic matters to you. So if a topic is material, you can report it. If it is not, you don't. But be careful, your auditor will check this assessment very closely when you are doing the assurance process. And if this engine is broken, like double materiality assessment is not up to the mark, then your whole report will be failed. So that is very important, that how you are going to do a double materiality assessment. We'll see what is double materiality assessment in much details in module 6 as well, but double materiality assessment we'll see in next slide. So the double materiality assessment is the dual lens assessment at the heart of the CSRD. So here in ISSB, in TCFD, in GRI, there is a different types of assessment they do ask, and almost all the frameworks asking for the financial materiality related stuff and impact materiality related stuff. But here you have to disclose how double materiality assessment has been done by you. So it means you have to look at the world through two lenses. So here you can see the inside out and the outside in. So let's understand the inside out. So inside out is the impact materiality. So that is how does your company impact people or the planet. How your company's product impact people and impact to the earth or planet. So you pollute a local river through your water wastewater treatment plant, then it is the impact to the river as well as is called as impact on the planet. And similarly outside in, it means financial